All right, guys. How is everyone doing? This is Paul Singh, the market speculator, bullsonwallstreet.com. Today, we're going to take a look at my favorite 7 earnings gap down stocks. These are stocks that have gap down that might be overreactions to earnings news that we're going to look to play as reversal setups. Let's go through the stocks now. My favorites are always the FANG stocks, the big tech stocks, Facebook, Amazon, Google, Netflix, even Twitter, because over the last 2 years, just about every gap down or hard pullback has been a reversal long opportunity or an opportunity to buy rather than short. And that can sound counterintuitive because usually when you see a stock gapping down, you think it's bad news and you can take a short in it. But with these stocks, oftentimes they're overreactions. They've been running, people get scared, they jump out, and then they come to their senses and realize these are fantastic companies, and then they go higher and higher. And if we pull out Amazon here over the last year, and we could even go further than that, you can see every gap down has essentially been a buying opportunity when you get the right signal. And that's the key. We don't just jump in because it's gapping down. I didn't jump in here today yet. But if tomorrow, next week, maybe even weeks from now, we get a signal to enter, I'm going to enter. So Amazon is on my list here. There are a number of things I'm looking for. Either it starts to pull into the gap, I can get in. If it invalidates the gap down, that's my favorite play. You have to wait a little longer for those. But if that gap down gets invalidated, it's going to be off to the races here. The other thing to pay attention with Amazon is coming into the 50-day moving average. If it can test this level and hold, that would be a show of strength. We could get in at that point. So watch for some type of reversal candle, some type of signal to get you in. And then Google is the same thing, although it's reported 4 days ago, so we have a little more data on this one. You can see I put the arrow on the gap down. A couple of spots I'm looking for here. As it pulls back down, does it show strength, much like over here? At this point, we don't have the strength yet. I'll probably, now if it were to continue down and then put in a hammer candle where you get this long tail, something like this right here, for those of you who aren't familiar with these types of candle patterns. If I see something like that, I would jump in. That would be an indication that it was stalling, especially if it came all the way to the lows here. But for now, unless that happens, I'll wait till it maybe remounts this 50-day moving average. If it does that, again, it could be off to the races. And then, of course, if it fills the gap and reaches that 1,000 level, we could be off to the races as well. So I think Amazon, Google at some point here are going to give us a really good trade. And we're going to be patient. Maybe it continues down and we have to wait till it tests the 200. We don't know, but you got to wait for that signal. But once you get it, this could be the trade of the year. So keep an eye out on Google and Amazon. Now Twitter here, also gapping down big after a really fantastic run here. Running from 16 to 20, even down here, running from 14 to 20. But we have gap down now. Now Twitter in the past has given us nice gap down reversal plays. Huge gap down here, then ran up. Huge gap down here, ran up, same thing here. So it has a tendency to give us these good reversals. You can see all my notes here from the last reversals I traded. So in the stock specifically. So I'm watching this gap down. Very similar analysis to Google and Facebook, although I'm not as bullish on this because those are momentum trends and this one is not. But if it breaks into the gap here, it could go long. So I'll be on the lookout for that. With Twitter, Harley-Davidson, Hog, gap down. This one is already setting up as it's pulled into the gap, did not continue down. We could enter here, a little shaky today. Part of that is the market, but it could make a nice run here. And if it runs, again, invalidating the gap down, again, it could be off to the races. So we're going to watch Hog. We've got Google, Amazon, Twitter. Now we've got HD, Home Depot, big gap down on earnings here. Big continuation on earnings. Continued here. We slight signal here. I'm not sure how strong it was, so I didn't take this. If this thing can break the 9 here at 148.50, we could see a nice run to 52. So that would be a nice 4-point. Probably happen very quickly if we can get up over the level and the market cooperates. So we'll be watching HD, Home Depot, and then it's Competitor here, Lowe's, essentially did the same thing, gap down. This has reversed much nicer. Now it's hit that invalidation point. A little tricky because we've got a moving average above it, but I think we might have an entry right here. So if you were looking for an entry, Lowe's might be a good one here, L-O-W. So we've got Lowe's, and then finally we've got Buffalo Wild Wings. One of my favorite places, grab some wings and watch the fights. But as a stock, it has been in a huge downturn. The fast casual trend seems to be over, but big gap down. Won't do anything with it now, but what's attractive here is if it can get into the gap and say we enter around 113, we could get a nice 7-point move to 120 or 121. I'm going to be patient with this one. I'm only going to enter if it gives us that specific signal. But if it does give us that signal, we get in a nice 7 to 8 point gain, and we only have to risk about 2 points to do it. So this could be a 3-to-1, 4-to-1 type trade, which means even if you're at 30% over time, let's say you take this setup 50 times or 100 times over the years, if you're only right 35% of the time, you are crushing it. So keep an eye out on Buffalo Wild Wings. So those are the 7 stocks. I've actually got a list of about 10 more that I'm watching, but those are some of my favorites right now. I'm really keyed into that. Of course, also in the Bulls on Wall Street trade report, we're also monitoring gap ups, stocks that reported really strong earnings, and looking for entries in those as well. If you want to join, go to bullsonwallstreet.com and go to the swing trading page. And we also have a ton of free blog posts that you can check out there. So all right, guys, till next time. Have a great weekend and a great week of trading.